Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. And today is the D-Day for many students who are attempting the paper of this year. And this mains examination is also something that many students look forward to, even if they're not writing mains exam, because they want to learn from it. Now, our purpose here with the discussion of the essay paper is not to pass judgments in terms of what students have already written, because the major challenge at any given point in time is to think of reasonable points within those 3 hours and write. So please do not watch this video, whomsoever has given mains this time around, and start to self-evaluate where you have done right or wrong. That is not the purpose of this video at all. And those who have been watching this video, those who have not written mains, learn from it and make sure that whatever few things that you can learn from here, you can apply this in all the essays that you will be practicing henceforth. And hopefully, when you write mains the next time around, some of the things that we have taught you in the course of this discussion can help you in the process. Sir, a very good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Very good afternoon, Umesh.
Thank you, sir. Sir, when you look at the paper, what are your initial impressions based on your years of experience?
So every year I'm curious, I'm curious to see these question papers. So I'm more curious with respect to essay paper because this is something that I have been attached with, I've been associated with. So this year paper, when I was looking at the topics, so last 3 years, if you look at the topics, there are two broad categories, right? So what UPSC has done is that what we call, this subject heavy topics, subject related topic, like topics related to media, democracy, ecology, environment, economics, or even literature. So this tendency to bring together two such topics and two subjects and make the topic abstract. For example, mathematics is the music of reason, right? And forests are the best case studies for economic excellence. So there is ecology, there is economics, right? There is maths and there is literature, something like that. So, but this year I don't see such kind of topics, right? The intersection between two totally contrasting topics. So we were expecting one or two such topics, that is not there. And all 8 topics within that, again we have two broad categories, like we call them, all of them, philosophical topics, but they have the robe of like philosophical topics, right? The guise of philosophical, but some are related to human emotions, some are related to human qualities, right? And these are the two broad qualities and human emotions, right? So some of them are philosophical, and if you look at all the topics, and you see that they are mostly related to the previous year topics. So I think, I'm sure, like you have done the same thing. Like in all my orientation, I keep telling from previous year topics, collect the keyword, like truth, justice, freedom, courage, hope, right? And all these keywords like reason, intuition, logic, and all. If you look at this year, all 4 topics, there is truth in the first topic, and in the second topic there is courage and war, right? And then there is another about like thought. We discussed that topic in previous, I think in the first podcast we did that, about thinking. Yeah, second one, thought finds a world. And then there is creativity, the keyword. And then the last one, the best lessons are learned through bitter experiences, right? So it's about learning lessons in life overall, like general. There is no particular keyword. So what you learn, the life itself is the keyword here. Okay. And then muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. The years teach which the days never know. That years teach much which the days never know. It is best to see life as a journey, not as a destination. Contentment is natural wealth. Luxury is artificial poverty. So all these 4 topics, again, human qualities, right? About how you look at the life, how you receive the life, and whether you are contented or happy, whether you see life as a journey. Like happiness is not the,
There is no path to
there's
happiness.
no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. Then similarly, it is best to see life as a journey, not as a destination.
There is one, sir. For example, life is a long journey between you knowing that you're a human being and you being humane. There's a topic like this.
You can just replace life with happy year.
Yes, sir. That is also, yeah.
So all these topics can be handled by anybody who has done a decent amount of work with respect to these keywords. So these keywords, I used to tell people, you should have a philosophical framework, right? And then you should have a psychological framework for each keyword. And to decorate, to add value to your answer, the literary angle, for all these keywords. And the fourth is like sociological angle, also very important. So what what I was recommending, if the word truth is there. So what philosophers have discussed about truth, right? So now the first topic, the truth knows no color. Truth knows no color. So the meaning is truth is absolute, right? So you cannot paint the truth with many other interpretations. You cannot color the truth according to your whims and fancy, according to your understanding and interpretation. Now the philosophers, maybe Plato might have said truth is absolute.
There is one philosopher that I can remember now, sir. He said, right is right, even if nobody is doing it. Wrong is wrong, even if everybody is doing it.
Correct.
And somewhat we can apply that here, I feel.
Correct, definitely. So that maybe somebody can start with that quote in the introduction. Now, do you have certain philosophical theories, philosophical works?
We do have, sir. For example, when we take Plato's allegory of caves, that's something that we can apply, because when we start our life, truth as such can be given to us on a plate by various stakeholders in the society. That's one thing that comes to my mind. And there is another philosopher called as Jiddu Krishnamurti, who said the purpose of education is to break ourselves free from all the shackles that make us rooted in the disillusioned world that we are as of now. So the purpose of education is to break free and find the truth that you have to. So these are some philosophers who are there as of now in my mind, which I think I can bring, sir.
Yeah. So one is philosophical framework. So you can have philosophers, world's greatest teachers, thinkers. So what was their understanding of the truth? What were their theories about the truth? We should have the understanding of it. And the name of the works, right? Name of the ideas, concepts. So similarly, when it comes to, let's say, psychology, now truth, like your understanding of truth can be biased.
Yes, sir. Just to bring a point here, history oftentimes is written by the victors. So here itself, it is colored to a certain extent. And as far as I have seen, UPSC has a soft spot for history. History does not repeat itself, but man does. History first repeats itself as a tragedy, then as a farce. Because the reason why history repeats as a tragedy, then as a farce, because we do not learn the real truth from history. We have to look at truth from an objective point of view and not just from the lens of those who have won. Can we bring these kind of things as well?
Definitely. See, that comes in the analytical part. So that's a historical perspective. But again, when you are going with that perspective, again, you are giving the same idea that the truth is objective, right? First, in the essay, we have to be very clear. Do we have the correct understanding that whether truth is objective or truth is not objective? Truth is absolute or it is not absolute, right? Because some philosophers might have said, no, truth is not absolute.
Machiavelli, sir, for instance, you have your version of truth, I have my version of truth, and for the real truth, it does not exist.
Exactly. So they will have their own reasoning for it, right? I mean, based on sound logic, right? Sound interpretation, right? So when you are an aspirant writing the essay for the topic, you have to bring all these dimensions. I should not just go on justifying the topic. Okay, truth is absolute. Plato said, Socrates said, Shankara said, Gandhi said, right? Or even Jiddu Krishnamurti said. So that is what many people do. We have to analyze the nature of the truth, whether what it is saying is true or not. And then we have to contextualize it. So in the present circumstances, like we have something called post-truth world, right? So we have a post-truth world where there is no value to the truth, and it is mainly dominated by human emotions, right? That impulsiveness, populism, populist attitude. So where there is no value for the facts, right? Fact can be said it is not correct, not right, not true, and make people believe about it also. So that is the world we are living. So then we have to give the reasoning also. Then why is it happening, right? So why we are painting truth with so many colors, right? And there can be a political motive, there can be economic motive, there can be so many other ulterior motive, or maybe some other motives. So are you aware of those things happening around us, right? So I think this is a very good topic. Truth knows no color. To analyze about the truth, and the truth, let's see this, truth, justice, freedom, wisdom, knowledge, happiness, courage. These are very often repeated keywords, and you should have at least, like, 2 to 3 page solid conceptual content for such keywords.
Yes, sir. What we have done this time around is whatever topics have been asked since 1993, we have tried to divide them into some 23, 24 themes, based on keywords, and we have went about our discussions with that. I think the first one, as far as I remember, the first topic that we had handled was related to truth and reality only in one of our classes.
The reality is another important keyword.
Right. So these things, and the analytical part that you were saying, is it wrong if truth has some color? That also, I think,
No,
we
that's
can.
another important dimension. See, Yuval Noah Harari makes a distinction between. I mean, I was reading his book. What is that book?
Homo Deus.
No, not Homo Deus. His latest book.
Uh-huh.
I forgot the name. I mean, it's about information.
Okay, sir.
Right. So,
Mhm.
information versus truth. Right. What is the difference between information and what is the difference between truth? How do you define truth and all? And in the world of artificial intelligence,
Yes.
right, what is happening to the very idea of truth? Right, the very notion of truth. That is another important dimension. Now, how like things like AI, like other technologies, like earlier social media, now AI. So, what they are making, how they are impacting the ideas like truth and all. So that's I forgot about.
So the concept that you told, I think there's a name for this called as AI hallucination as well, because even
Yeah,
artificial
correct.
intelligence, the kind of things that they're giving, it's not rooted in truth as such. And yesterday I was reading an article, it was talking about this information detox as such.
Right.
Sometimes too much of information could also be a problem. And I think this is a very rich topic where you can bring a good number of analytical aspects to it.
Even Gandhian idea of truth should be analyzed, not just merely mentioning, but analyzing his idea of truth, and where he borrowed his idea of truth. Did he believe that truth was absolute? He in fact believed truth.
He was someone who was influenced by writers like Leo Tolstoy. And- right, and very good. Right, sir. And here there is this one person, Mark Twain. He said, by the time truth can just tie its lace, falsehood would have traveled some 7 to 8 times around the world. Because falsehood, it kind of resonates with people to a much easier and larger extent than truth does. Truth demands a lot of energy. Truth demands a lot of patience for anyone to understand it and understand it in an objective.
Here you can bring sociological dimension, like from the perspective of the society. So why this misinformation, disinformation travels fast, right?
Yes.
And then of course there's the psychology also, the people. So that's what I said: psychology, sociological dimension, and then philosophical. So if you have got solid understanding of this, I think these topics can be handled. So what about the second topic? So thought finds a world and creates. Second topic: the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting.
This is Sun Tzu, the art of war type of quote, sir. And it is kind of nice because when we talk about supreme art of war, I can think of a philosopher who said, I consider him to be the bravest and the strongest who has himself in his control. Most of the times when a situation, a circumstance comes into the picture, we just want to go to war. We just want to take revenge. I'm not talking from a bilateral point of view, but also from an individual point of view. To convince, to persuade, to socially influence an individual without having to resort to violence in a very haphazard manner, that deserves a lot of skills.
So what many aspirants would do, I think, because I keep evaluating, the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. So now they will take war as a conventional war between two countries. You will see that in their essay that is going to be the major, like dominant interpretation, right? So then they will say that how you can prevent war between India and Pakistan, or India and China, or between China and America, maybe Russia and America, maybe Iran and Israel, Israel and Gaza, right? So the entire essay you will see the war is interpreted from the what we see, this conventional war between two nations having conflicting interest. So again here war should be interpreted correctly, wisely also, I think. So the war should not be just the convention war. Now, when you say art of war, now there are variety of wars, right? So there can be a civil war, right? There can be a war with psychological warfare. So there can be a war within us, right? Then you have like various types of war, like nowadays we see tariff war and trade war, this and so many things are there. Now that is important because your essay will not be like homogeneous, right?
Yes, sir.
So again, you have, when you bring the psychological dimension into it, so then there is a individual perspective, individual dimension also. So there is a war between, then you have a dilemma, like war between two conflicting ideas within your mind, two conflicting emotions within your mind, right? And then there is war within a society, that there are invisible wars and then there are visible wars that you see within the society, and the wars waged against certain sections of the society by the state, right? So we don't see that, but it is still a kind of a war, right? And then war between different communities, right? It may not be manifested in a physical sense, in a violent one, but we see such kind of wars across cultures and nations. So first, I think bringing that a diverse interpretation is important, then your essay will become more rich. So what do you think?
That is absolutely true, sir. Because in the last year, when there was a topic, the empires of the future will be the empires of the mind. Most of the people who have written essay on this, they have looked at it from an artificial intelligence and a chat GPT point of view. But there are multiple dimensions, multiple philosophies underlying that. Maybe in leadership, how should be the mind as such? These things rarely people have done. So bringing that multiple diversity is important. And here, when I look at this, the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. When I look at some of the policies of India, we don't have the hard power as such. But nevertheless, our soft power is quite good. And I was watching an interview. In that interview, they say, even though China has a lot more presence in Africa as such, Indian projects, Indian people are given a lot more respect over there. Because here, India knows hard power is still evolving, but we are trying to go ahead with soft power and make people realize that we are treating them not as a means to anything, but rather as an end. So when you try to treat them that way, I think it gets a little bit better, I feel.
So to approach this topic, like first of all, why do you call it as supreme art?
Why not a science? Why is it an art?
Yeah. So then why art of war? Right? Why war is an art? Right? And then when it talks about subdue the enemy without fighting, how do you define your enemy? Who is the enemy here? Right? And then when you say without fighting, how? I mean, so what are the tools at your disposal? Right? So without fighting means without resorting to violence. Right? So how are you going to fight? What are the approaches? What are the tools you have? Right? That's what I meant. Making it analytical means asking the questions like why, how, and also looking at the fundamentals, the very basics in the topic itself. So here also you can bring the philosophical approach, like how did philosophers interpret was, because during the philosophers of that day, in the ancient time, they were like everyday wars. So how did they look at the idea of war? And in the Indian context, how did our Indian philosophers and teachers, they looked at the idea of the war? This knowledge is very essential because it gives you clarity, right? The conceptual clarity. So upon which you can contextualize in the current times.
And there have been some conquerors as well. If we go just from a technical war point of view, you have Alexander who fought a war with Darius. Darius was much bigger, was much stronger as such, but the way Alexander systematically defeats Darius, it is a beautiful story in itself. There was good amount of psychological warfare. There was proper strategic planning as such. So here, that is where I think the artistic things comes into the picture. Understanding the enemy, what makes the enemy tick, what makes the enemy stronger, understanding their weaknesses. These things, it is not something that you can understand from a scientific, technical point of view. There must be an artistic angle associated with it.
Correct. Like you can bring Gandhian philosophy, Buddhist philosophy also. And also nowadays we see in media, we see that, the state waging war against people and weaponization of information, weaponization of caste, weaponization of religion, So we see this weaponization of so many things nowadays, right? So all intended, when you say weaponization, of course it is part of the war, right? So because someone is waging war against someone, so in that context also we should understand how to deal with such kind of weaponization. I mean, if you don't, I mean, the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. This is also form of the fighting, right? Now, the another part of the essay, how do you counter such kind of strategies, such kind of weaponization, such kind of approaches that conventional or unconventional war, whichever other people, other agents are using. So the solution again is very important. Again, it should not be cliched, it should not be generic, it should be more creative, and it should be more original.
Sir, in this, the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. You said the enemy could be external, it could also be internal. So, can we talk from an internal point of view, our desires, our greed,
Correct.
and all these kind of things within enemy, and how we can overcome it without fighting it as such?
Correct.
And if we fight it, how should it be? So these things, I think, are angles which we can explore in the essay.
So that is where the psychological dimension, knowing the psychological concepts, right? How do you handle your adrenaline rush? How do you handle depression? How do you handle emotional conflict, turbulence, our own rage, our own urge to being reactionary, right? That is also like in a way small wars or small battles, right? And then again war versus battle, right? So we have to bring related concepts also.
Sometimes you might lose the battle, but we can win the war as well.
Exactly. And then earlier you mentioned about the word power also, right? When you were talking about Machiavelli. So what is the relationship between war and power, right? And then war and freedom. So the related concepts that the justice and the war. So we keep on either justifying the same topic, or then some people have the tendency to bring antithesis. No, the war cannot be subdued. Huh? Right. So without fighting, there must be fight. That is what they say, right? I mean, it is like two clear-cut compartment that has become cliched approach in the essay.
Yes, sir. Even I am seeing some of the times when students write an essay, they have this preset mind. Okay, in my essay, I have to write thesis, I have to write antithesis, and then I have to write synthesis.
That antithesis is so artificial in so many cases, not logical also. And they themselves know when they are writing it, they cannot justify properly. They cannot justify with certain concept, certain reasoning, logic.
I remember a student who was going to write mains, and somewhere he told me, "Sir, I had a conversation with, a YouTube expert as such, and there, the person told first essay write thesis, antithesis, synthesis, and then second essay go for something." But my question is, this preset mind, he might not find an essay which fits that pattern, and you don't have to necessarily write like that everywhere.
See, essay in that very moment you need to create something. Use all your creativity, all your knowledge, all your wisdom. Write the most original essay. Stay close to the topic, as UPSC says in the notification. That is common sense, right? So this preset mind, premeditated approach, that totally spoils. And when you write yourself, will know that it is artificial. You're not feeling that that you are writing a very good essay, right? So good. So what about the third topic?
So thought finds a word and creates one as well. In terms of this topic, the first topic that comes to my mind, PYQ, hisab se. In 2021, there was your perception of me is a reflection of you. My reaction to you is an awareness of me. The kind of thoughts that we have creates the word. It could be a positive word, it could be a negative word. It all depends upon, I think, the thoughts as well. And some people, they had the necessary courage to think of a word which others could not see. Their thoughts, it shaped societies and it is shaping civilizations even to this day. So this is where I think the real game is thinking. The greatest battles are won and lost in the mind.
Yeah. So here thought, I think, is about the very process of thinking, imagination and creativity, and your courage to put an idea into reality, create reality, create something out of your idea, right? So basically thought finds a world, it's an idea, and creates one also. It can be creation of an idea and putting that idea into action, right? So your imagination becoming reality.
That science and technology following together.
Yeah, you can, yes, exactly. You can bring that also. Then again, you are creating one, not necessarily in physical sense. Maybe creation of architectural wonder, maybe a creation of a temple, creation of an art, creation of a literary work, creation of a new musical note, Beethoven and all, right? So maybe that is in tangible sense. In intangible sense, it can be an idea. It may be abstract, but it can be an idea also. For example, it can be an idea of philosophy, a new philosophy, idea like communism and all, right? So they were created, and then of course they became reality in terms of the kinds of government institutions that we have had, whatever be the outcome, right? Now here the essay, the very process of thinking is important. Like how do we how do we think? What are the various types of thoughts, like creative thought, analytical thinking, strategic thinking, critical thinking, visionary thinking, innovative thinking, lateral thinking, right? So all these various thought processes. Then there is inward thinking. Again, Jiddu Krishnamurti and the Indian philosophy, the Vedanta philosophy. What does it say about the very process of thinking? So, and what is the relationship between meditation and thinking? I mean, when you're bringing the philosophy, right?
So when I am teaching art and culture, prelims, from a prelims point of view, the Sankhya school of philosophy was asked quite a few years ago. And there, the school of philosophy says self-knowledge is what will liberate you. And they've defined that to get the self-knowledge, you need to have the right perception, you need to have inferences, you need to have listening. As of now, in the present times, I think thinking has been understood from a very narrow point of view. Just going to the classes, listening to classes, having the notes in front of you, that is seen as thinking. But thinking is much more of an active effort where you engage with conversations, engage with debate with others, engage with debate within that voice which is there inside of you. And this topic, there is another UPSC PYQ. So thinking is like a game, it does not begin until you have an opposite team. I think there are good number of dimensions that we can explore here.
Correct. So then again, see, to look at the topic, thought finds a world and creates one also. Artificial intelligence didn't exist once upon a time. So somebody thought about it, right? And then they created something that hitherto didn't exist. That was not part of the existing world. So when they say that you can create another world within the broader world, so that is how we have created civilization. That is how we have enriched our cultures. That is how we have progressed so far. So you can bring the idea of progress. You can bring the idea of development. You can bring the idea of better future, countering the dystopian kind of future, right? So here, what kind of thought? Again, very simply, we have positive thought and negative thought also. Now, antithesis people will force themselves to bring negative thought, and that is not required here, right? You don't have to bring Hitler. You don't have to bring some other time. That again become artificial. Largely, the essay should be constructive, positive. Again, should not be spent telling about what aspect, that what somebody has already done in the past. Thomas Alva Edison, they will give the example. No? He thought about a bulb and he created a bulb. That has become so cliched examples. They should not go for already which are existing. So the essay is more about your own imagination, your own thought here, right? So how you are analyzing what is going the futuristic dimension. That is extremely important in topics like
True, sir. And I think from an artistic point of view, this is even more interesting because an artist has to observe those things that others usually miss out. And when they do observe and they try to bring it into the world, many people might not be willing to support it. Many people might not have that artistic vision as such. Nevertheless, when an artist sticks to those visions and makes it possible, if not for his generation, but for the future generation to think onto it, that becomes quite nice, I feel, sir.
Correct.
We can talk about Van Gogh here. And yeah.
So here again, that is artistic dimension. In terms of what is happening around the world. Like we have institutions, we have political developments, taking all around the world. So with respect to this topic, now we think democracy is an ultimate idea, right? Ideal also, like not everybody. The America wants to make other countries democratic, so we want to become a better democracy, right? So now, is there any alternative to democracy, better than democracy, or can we create something better than democracy in the future, right? So can you think in that direction also, right? Again, to resolve the conflicts that are happening around the world. So what can be a better idea, right? So can you think about it, can you create an idea for it? So I would be more interested in understanding and knowing your own imagination, rather than telling me what I already know, right? The essay should be more about that. And I see people using the word thought from beginning to end, without using the word creativity, without using the word imagination, without using the word freedom, without using the word like ideas, right? Without using the word awareness, without using the word consciousness, without using the word like conscience, right? So it will be like thought everywhere. So that is another thing actually irritates when we read. Some topper had recommended, you have to repeat the topic,
Keep repeating the
keyword and topic, because you have to stay relevant. Relevancy doesn't come by repeating the keywords or
At the
topic.
end of the day, it is the
Through the ideas,
readability.
you have to
True, sir.
stay relevant.
And one more thing, thought finds a word and creates one also. In case if I have to bring some book reference as such, there is this book called as The Art of Thinking Clearly. Right, that one we can bring. And apart from that, you
Think
also
and Grow Rich. I think these are self-help books. I usually tell people avoid, ask them to avoid mentioning self-help books. So if there is a book, like if we have discussed in the past, like Noam Chomsky and all, right? Henry Kissinger, if it is geopolitics and diplomacy, even if the classics, right? So better to bring those books.
Yeah, since you brought Henry Kissinger, I recently came across a very interesting quote that was given by him. He said, "To be the enemy of America is dangerous. To be its friend, it is fatal."
There is another book like Behave, Soprowski, its name. I was reading that book. It's about like human psychology, human thinking, how the human thinking is evolving, the super intelligence, and how our behavior is, dictated not to the whatever conventional understanding we have. So I think there are wonderful books which are like contemporary, which are thought provoking, right? I think one should mention those books also.
And here, since you also spoke about having philosophers ready for themes, I think can we apply even Voltaire over here, sir? In the third topic, thought finds a word and creates one. For us to give effect to thoughts, there needs to be some sort of a liberty, some sort of tolerance for diverse point of view.
Correct. That's what I meant. Freedom, liberty, tolerance. These ideas. I think. See, the essay is not linear. So, in addition to the concept that is there in the question, associated, related concepts, bringing them, the interplay between these concepts, how they influence each other, right? It's a weaving together, creating sequence of ideas, your own ideas, different perspectives. Okay. The fourth topic.
Best lessons are learned through bitter experiences. Sir, I think this is about pursuit of excellence in life. And even if you take from 1993,
It's about failures.
yes, sir, yes. And in the pursuit of excellence, there will be failures, there will be challenges. It's just that you need to be open enough to learn from it, so that you learn. So that you move on in life. And I like watching Formula One, and there is this. There was this race driver called as Nicky, multiple time world champion. He gave a very beautiful thing. With success, you don't learn much, but in failures, you learn quite a lot. I think this topic is somewhat relevant to that.
What should be the caution here is that the essay should not look like a motivational article here, right? Just because it says it talks about best lessons and failures and everything. I see people writing a motivational article the way they write in their personal diary or a blog, right? There should be some academic touch to these topics. Again, you have to bring philosophy, philosophers, psychological concepts, right? See, in every essay, concepts, ideas, opinions, and the facts and examples, the validation, the kind of examples you use, they really matter. So I see many essays either examples heavy, less on ideas and opinions, and
It has to be balanced. I
it
feel.
has to be balanced, but more tilted towards
Arguments.
ideas and arguments
True, sir.
rather than more of examples. So here, what they will do, they will give 5 examples of biggest failures and how they went on to become biggest, like successful, more successful people. Maybe it can be Steve Jobs, or like our Arunima Singh and Manji. Like we have like every successful people have been through, right? Now the analysis part here, why, right, and how. So now when they say best lessons are learned through bitter experience. So now in the first place, like why do people have to go through bitter experiences? Why people fail, right? Why you should learn from failures, and how you should learn lessons from failures, and why some people don't learn from failures.
And what are some of those best lessons that we usually learn?
So what are those lessons? So the lessons you should give conceptual test to each lesson that you are going to learn. Like if it is resilience, right? If it is self-confidence, if it is fortitude, if it is fighting the all odds. I don't know the word, but you have like determination, you have perseverance, right? You like being ever hopeful about something. That can be the lesson that you have learned.
And we can also
Being stoic also, whatever. Yeah.
And we can also ask a question: are we equipped to learn these best lessons? Because when I look at the modern parenting style these days, they do not want their children to have any bitter experiences. They want their children to have a privileged life.
And
as
then
such.
linking them
Mm.
with various systems.
True.
People usually link with the education system, right? And then they in the end they bring NEP also, right? That is not required here. So education holistically, the very interpretation of education, the critical analysis of education, its role in making people resilient, independent, self-dependent, right? And also the various systems within the society. For example, if it is in the Indian context, so how does the caste system impact one's ability to cope up with the failures, right? So and the political system we live in, so how does it impact, right? Within again we have so many constitutional values also. Can you bring them and link with the topic? So I think again the sociological perspective also, I talked about caste system. So instead of just giving for motivational story and ending the essay, this and plus also earlier you talked about digital detoxification,
Yes,
right? The information diet. And, so what is the role of social media, or internet, or AI, or technology? So in helping individuals learn lessons and coping up with the bitter experiences, can AI be your friend in dealing with the bitter experience?
So today I was reading about procrastination because there are times when I also procrastinate in my life, and most of the times I see my students also doing it. And they were talking about procrastination from a very interesting angle, where they said procrastination could be because of 3 possible reasons. One could be your mind is not able to find the logic. The second could be your heart is unable to connect with it. Or the third, you might not have the capabilities that it requires, the work requires. Many of the people, in terms of procrastination, what they do is rather than engaging with it, finding out the underlying reasons, they go for all these courses which are available, self-help books or things like that. And I don't think they can learn the best lesson from this. Sitting with oneself, being in that solitude, it might create bitter experiences when one is in solitude, but I think it is in solitude where healing begins and you learn that best lesson. Can we bring these angles as well, sir?
Yeah, definitely. That is very Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Right, sir.
So there is his book Walden. So there he recommends going into solitude, and but he fails in the end. So in from his perspective, but that is something that we have seen even in Indian philosophy, right? Renunciation, and going to Himalayas, and creating. I mean, understanding yourself, right? And understanding the world around you, why these bitter experiences exist in the first place. So bitter experience, again, lots of injustices. You can bring the justice angle here, right? And restriction of your freedom, right? You can bring the freedom angle here. So knowing the world, understanding the culture, understanding the society. So when you are alone, maybe you can understand it. So it's a very good topic again, but then again, writing lots of motivational stories. See, the anything in UPSC essay, what I've noticed, all this cliched approach, if the fixed pattern, as you said, premeditated approach, this mere justification of the topic without analysis of the topic, without any innovative touch to the topic. Yeah, too many examples will never help you cross 50 marks. So in the so now my expectation is that when all these topics are of this nature, right? Again, the essay marks might come down by another 5 to 10 marks this year. These are like too philosophical and abstract in nature. So there was a choice for you, at least, to write about forests are the best case studies, and then one philosophical. Now, somebody may be totally, not comfortable with handling these topics.
And usually the same approach of pestle comes into picture when people write essays. That again is a pest.
Best. No, the worst approach that this is a school
True.
approach. I mean, school,
Yes, true,
school in
sir.
school essay you should write, not in these essays. I don't know. Even some toppers earlier they were recommending, and people keep reading. A book written by a topper or someone. Start with a story. Start with two stories. Start with an anecdote. Bring pestle approach. Pestle approach is not justifying the same topic politically, economically, and sociologically. It is bringing sociological new dimension about the topic, right? So people don't understand the differences.
And when you were saying about justice, there was this thinker who got Nobel Prize as well, Jane Addams. She basically says true peace is not absence of war, but presence of justice. And
Again, that can be used in second topic also. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without. In this also we can use.
if you were writing one essay from section A, sir, last question, which one would you pick, sir? One essay.
So I would go with truth knows no colors. So one can write deep essay on that topic, right? So there's a deep philosophical thoughts about it. Of course, I have to learn and write. You cannot just merely write. So that is a topic that I would choose actually.
Sir, section B, muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. This is a Taoist philosophy. What are your initial impressions of this topic, sir? Muddy water is best
It is
cleared
which
by
philosophy?
Taoism, sir.
Taoism. Okay. So muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. So we have a saying in Kannada also, Kesರಿಗೆ ಕಲ್ಲು ಎಸಿಬೇಡ, right? So don't throw stone into muddy water. So again, it muddies the water further. So you leave it alone, it gets cleared. So here basically, see, whenever we look at the essay topic, there is literal meaning and then there is figurative meaning, right? So the literal meaning is that let it be, let something, let time heal it, leave it to time. So you bringing the time dimension here. So time will take care of the issue, your pain or your agony, whatever issue you're going through, right? So here one should be critical about it. So the critical thinking part. So if it is an issue between a very sticky issue, a persistent issue between two countries, should we leave it alone? Should we leave it to the time?
Exactly, sir. We can use the imagery that they've given. Let us say there is muddy water and that muddy water is just kept as it is. Now that muddy water can breed so much of infection as well.
No, that is but the logic here is,
Now using that imagery to create points.
So the literal meaning is the mud will settle in the bottom. The on top it is going to be clear water, but the mud still persists. Right, it is there in the bottom. It is as a sediment. It is still there. Whenever you stoke, whenever you do something, take a stick and right. Then again, it is again going to be muddy. It remains unaddressed. Right. So that is what I mean. Critical thinking. Now people will have the tendency to just justify the topic. So muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. Do meditation, right? I mean, do go for vipassana. Maybe clear your head, right? And if there is a problem between two individuals, so keep away from them. Stay silent. Then it will be taken care by. So again, at the end of the day, we have emotions, we have aspirations, we have ambitions, we have ego, we have all the jealousy, this mada, matsara, loba, nava emotions, 9 emotions, different emotions. So this essay should be critically analyzed.
So, since you brought this point, can we bring the angle of our conscious, our subconscious, and unconscious mind? Because
So that again, psychological perspective.
because we would have stubbed so much of traumas that we would have faced in our life so deep, we would not have reacted to it, and this can create problems, if not today, eventually at one point or the other in life.
No, this is ancient wisdom. The philosophy, what it says, don't muddy it further, basically, right? So leave it alone. It actually works sometimes, but I don't think in contemporary world it actually works, because we have to sit, have a conversation, discuss, resolve our differences, right? And leaving it alone further complicates, because you have many more actors, many more players coming into pictures, and many more circumstances. You are not static. Yeah, as you move into the future, you face many circumstances, again unforeseen circumstances. So then how are you going to deal with the reality? Again, the concept of reality can be brought. The reality is something else, right? Your understanding of reality, the very reality of reality, we don't know about it, right? So I think the philosophical angle, you mentioned about the psychological angle, and then sociological angle. For example, you have a we had untouchability, right? Uh,
We have hidden discrimination even in
will this
metropolitan
topic apply
cities.
to untouchability?
Yes, sir.
It never. I mean, muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. We cannot leave untouchability alone. The topic applies in the sense you have to counter it. You have to address untouchability.
Many people have this mentality: if it is not happening to me, it is not happening for anyone else.
Yes.
Right? And they just don't want to engage with
So
the
there is
problems
again
which is
another
existing.
saying in Kannada, ಬೆಕ್ಕು ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಚ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹಾಲು ಕುಡಿದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. So the if cat closes eye and is drinking water, it thinks that nobody is watching, right?
So you made an excellent point, to be honest with you, because most of the people, as far as I know, when they would have written an essay for this, they would have justified the essay to a larger extent, and maybe there would be some criticism of it. But the approach that you have is you have criticized this more, and then you also have taken a stand where you have told this is not going to work out in the contemporary times. Many people, they try to balance it out, sir. What is your view on
See,
that?
that takes away the originality. In essay, there must be conviction, and that conviction, we sense that conviction by strength of your arguments, your ability of reasoning, the kind of reasons you give, right? So if you're disagreeing with the topic, what are your reasons? Again, the reason can be philosophical, it can be psychological, it can be logical, it can be a precedence. There was such an instance, right? So it proves that hence that reason is, that approach, that idea is, that argument is correct. So that is why the why factor is very important, right? So many people give example replacing the reason. They write the example but not the statement like reason, right? And then they think they have reason, they have given the reason. Even I see that it's a very basic common sense mature individual who are writing an essay for the UPSC.
So you were talking about the students writing more examples and not writing arguments, analysis, or bringing their reasoning. One small advice to improve their reasoning, sir. When
You have to be deeply inquisitive and curious also, right? For example, now the very basic question, who muddies this water? Now we have accepted water is muddy, and then we'll go on justifying. Now who muddied the water, right? What are the factors that usually makes this water muddy? We don't ask very fundamental. That is what I mean by inquisitiveness. Right? Now to improve the reasoning, we must have strong concepts, right? We should have read. You may not be able to recall the exact concept, but having read about that concept will give you a better reasoning ability.
And to add on to this, sir, every week we have weekly essay challenge. And I'm not trying to show off about our institution, but nevertheless, we've given ample amount of opportunities for students to write. We are also giving prize of 1,000 rupees per essay. And last week, as far as I remember, there was a beautiful essay topic. Without deviation from the norm, practice, progress is not possible.
Progress is not possible.
Not possible. And if I look at this one, if you do not deviate from the norm and you just allow that muddy water to continue, progress of any sort is not possible. For me, the more the students write, the more they have discussions and evaluations, I think their reasoning will also improve a little bit.
Yeah, here muddy water is not mere conflict or a struggle or anything, right? It's not just an issue. It is also about so many deep-rooted, these issues that have made society sick, right? It can be apartheid in South Africa, racism, caste system, untouchability, the discrimination against women, the deep-rooted patriarchy, right? So it's a very beautiful topic. I mean, you should know how to link with various aspects. So okay.
Moving
So
on to the next one, sir. The years teach much which the days never know.
it is going through struggle. I mean, it is about a long-term, long-drawn battle. Where you have to go through lots of struggle. So the years teach much which the days never know.
Sir, if I have to start this, usually what I do whenever I read an essay topic, I try to link it with the past PYQs. And in the 1990s, there was a very exciting and a beautiful topic that I love. Youth is a blunder, manhood a struggle, old age a regret. When I look at this essay topic, I think there is a little bit similarity to this. What do you think, sir?
Yeah, there is similarity. This essay is about wisdom. This essay is about accumulated wisdom. It's about vision. It's about a long-term strategy. It's about not being impulsive. It's not being reactionary. It's about patience. There are so many human qualities, which yield us, better positive result for a long period of time.
When we are young, we don't think about the years, we think about the day, just getting through the day, just enjoying the moment. But as and when we age, I think we tend to self-introspect a lot more and then look back, what is it that I have gained in the years that I've been on this planet?
Then again, we have to be critical about the topic here. It says that, which the days never know. It's an extreme statement. Days never know. Right. But again, in a day, there is so much to learn also. A day, leave alone day, there can be a moment in your life that can be an opportunity for biggest lesson for you in a moment. Right. It can be just a few seconds. Right. Somebody, I think yesterday we were discussing in another topic, a revelation, a revelatory moment in your life, moment of enlightenment. Right. So it is so momentary also. But all years of accumulated knowledge, wisdom, right, can be overturned also in that very moment when you come in contact with such wise people. But again, we go back to the first topic here, the first part of the topic. So the other individual is wise because of all years of struggle. So you have got an opportunity in that moment, right, in a very short moment, to be in touch with huge amount of wisdom. So both things come into picture here.
So when you were talking about that revelation part, my mind quickly went back to a poem that I had read. It was written by William Wordsworth, and it was about a leech gatherer. Now this fellow, he's quite old. He's gathering these leeches because leeches have medicinal properties as well. And when he sees William Wordsworth, he starts to feel sorry. Okay, what could happen to me when I'm as old as him, because artists don't get paid so much. He starts to think, he starts to become pessimistic. But nevertheless, when he still observes that leech gatherer, he finds out, okay, this guy, even though he's old, even though he's doing this leech gathering, there is still a smile on his face. That revelation part that you told, on a daily basis also, that those revelations can come. It's just that you need to have an open
So there is another perspective to the topic. It's about history versus the present. Right. So the years teach much which the days never know. We learn lessons from the history. Right. So that all the ancient wisdom, the traditional knowledge. Right. So that is another aspect to this. There is so much to learn from all the years, that you may be thinking so wise today, right? You may be so brilliant today, right? This is another aspect, I think. So there is that ancient wisdom, right? So they have thought about it, and they have been through, they have evolved their own wisdom. So that is another angle one can bring here.
Oftentimes, we know the importance of today, not today, but maybe 10 years down the line.
Yeah. So there is another dimension. Maybe it can be science or tech dimension, conceptual dimension about the time here. So what is the role of time here, right? So how do you see time, right? So the dimension of time here. So when you say years, say large amount of time, right? When you talk about day, it's a relatively small amount of time. No, but how do you look at the time here, the angle of time here? Like, do you always need more time?
Is it linear as such, or time does it repeat? Some past might exist even now between the present.
There is past, there is future, there
Yes.
is present,
Yes.
right?
Yes, sir.
So when we talk about the years, I talked about history. Is it about the past? Is it about the future? Right. So the very dimension of time, when there was another topic, best lessons are learned through bitter experiences. You have time associated with it. Thought finds a world and creates one also. You have the dimension of time in it. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. So in every topic, that there is a dimension of time, right? So I find it say exciting if somebody can bring the dimension of time somehow. They should use their wisdom.
Yes.
But this topic is directly related to the time.
So I can think of 2 points. Time past and time present, time future are present and time present. These were 2 lines. I'm sure I'm not saying it the exact way, but then nevertheless the spirit. And I can think of one more poem. Gather ye rosebuds while you may. Old time is still a flying. The flower that smiles today, tomorrow might be dying. So bringing not only about the time, but how creatively you can bring that also, I think matters a little bit. Yes.
Correct. And then the word there, the teach is there. The years teach much. Right. So when you say the years teach much, the time is teaching you.
What
Time.
kind of lessons could it be?
When we say time teaches you, it is not one individual, one institution teaching you something. The time, the years teaching you something. And again, the time, years, whatever it is, it is manifested. It is available to us in the form of books, scriptures, in the form of ideas, in the form of so many lessons that everyone has created for every individual problem, whether internal or external. So that is what I meant by the dimension of time is also important. But again, time in itself is not. How time we have, through time, how we have created things, part of the culture and part of the human history.
True, sir. So the next one, it is best to see life as a journey, not as a destination. I think quite a few people would have written this, I feel.
It is best to see life as a journey, not as a destination. So because it has appeared in the past also, right? I think similar sounding topics have appeared. So why we should focus on the process, not on the outcome. When I keep telling it's an ancient wisdom, especially from Indian philosophy. Karmane vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, something like this, I think. So don't focus on the outcome.
Just
Focus on the process. So it is best to see life as a journey. So now when you see life as a journey towards what? Right? Journey towards death, or journey towards a purpose, or journey towards higher aspiration, journey towards specific goal, right? A journey towards certain objective, right? So that is a fundamental question for me. Merely surviving is not a journey, right?
It is animalistic in nature.
Yeah. So now you have to know what is the destination and what is the journey here. Each journey itself is the destination, right? Can journey itself be the destination?
And UPSC has given a similar topic. Not all who wander are lost as well, because they're also emphasizing here, even if you might not have a destination as of now, but when you're going on a journey,
Mere wandering is also.
that is the thing, sir.
So here again, the philosophical, psychological right? Why people are so obsessed with the outcomes, so obsessed with the goals. So you want to become IAS, that is the, the larger than life goal. Again, larger than life goal, like you are living out, you are sacrificing all the aspects of the life, right? The social life you are sacrificing.
Yesterday, when we were having a conversation, we spoke about you spoke about being in the moment, enjoying the small little things. When someone is so much obsessed with their aspiration, they miss out on the smaller things. And these smaller things they build up, build up, build
No,
up.
that is what they have to discuss about the journey. What does it constitute? When we say life as a journey, what does it constitute? Right. So which are all the elements of this journey? Right. Life as a journey. It is best to see life as a journey.
The people that you meet, the things that you accumulate in life.
Correct. The thoughts you have, the ideas you create. Right. So all the experiences you accumulate. All these things collectively. So again, it's about living in the moment. Mindfulness, heartfulness. I mean, again, you can bring so many philosophies here.
And I think the UPSC likes this thing because mindful manifesto is the catalyst for tranquil self. That is one topic that they've asked.
You can borrow 2-3 dimension from previous year topics, but my recommendation is that don't mention those topics in your essay. So the reason is that it becomes easy to resort. My understanding is that UPSC wants you to go through the tougher route, difficult path of doing research by yourself, thinking by yourself, picking more standard original things, giving example of UPSC aspirant, that is totally strictly no in the UPSC essay. Similarly, picking things from the previous year topics. You can use the tranquil self quote without repeating the quote.
Exactly.
Bring the idea. Idea must be borrowed.
Presentation should differ, I feel.
That's what I mean. So then again, it is best to see life as a journey, not as a destination. Right. So
to bring any book references as such, most of the students who are watching it, they will be aware of this book called as My Experiments with Truth, right? Sometimes they write a lot about it.
See, again, that gives another time. My experiments with the truth. We talked about while defining the journey, accumulation of experiences. So it also about experimenting with the life. Can journey be experimenting with the life? When we say experimenting, not bungee jump and going for solo ride, or that for adventurism, maybe that is another way. Experimenting with truth, experimenting with peace, experimenting with love. Very good. Again, earlier we discussed about bringing other concepts. So that is when essay becomes more engaging. It should not be like linear, right? So you should find an opportunity to introduce these different ideas, weave them together, and make an essay more engaging. Okay. So the last topic.
Contentment is natural wealth, luxury is artificial poverty.
So it's about again a timeless wisdom. Be contented, right? So be contented. That how do you achieve the contentment? Is something that you are happy with what you already possess.
And here they have also given the term natural wealth.
Again, it is natural wealth. Again, there is wealth, right? So there is a difference between being rich and being wealthy, right? So being rich is something you are looking at the profit you want to accumulate. So being wealthy is that you already possess everything to lead highly standard life, right? So it is you don't have to work hard, but it is always there with you. The wealth you have created wealth for yourself. So it's a natural wealth, something that without struggle. Right. So something very natural as part of your natural self, as part of your personality.
I remember Sir Buddha very famously said that health is the greatest gift, contentment the greatest wealth as such, and faithfulness the best relationship. This quote, I think when we are content, we will have good amount of health as well, which is a natural wealth in itself.
Again, it says luxury is artificial poverty, right? So oxymoron.
Yes.
So contradictory, like luxury we associate with the wealth, rich. Now it is saying artificial poverty. Why do you think luxury is said here as artificial poverty?
Sir, if I have to analyze this from my limited point of view, poverty is often said it is like a state of mind. And when you have a luxurious mentality as such. Whatever you have, you feel that it is not enough. You want more. You want more. Inno bekagide culture people have these days, and you will never be happy with what you have. That in itself is like a poverty.
Again, it says artificial poverty. That is something you have created.
Yes.
You have created poverty for yourself. You have everything, even then you are still poor because you are not contented. You want to accumulate, you want to go after something.
There is this famous song of Dr. Rajkumar sir, ನಿನ್ನ ಆಸೆಗೆ ಕೊನೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಏಕೆ ಕನಸು ಕಾಣವೇ ನಿಧಾನಿಸು.
ಏಕೆ ಕನಸು ಕಾಣವೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಆಸೆಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊನೆಗಿದೆ. Correct. So again, earlier we were discussing mere justification, making it motivational won't be sufficient. So bring philosophy, psychology. Again, here we can bring.
So can we try to bring this angle of rural versus urban?
Yeah, the sociological angle. Again, rural versus urban. I was also thinking from the perspective of the privilege, being entitlements, the dimension of power. Right. Because the dimension of power is important because contentment is natural wealth. Luxury is artificial poverty. Like you see, people are after power. So now I am an aspiring politician. I want to be a member of parliament. I want to be a member of legislative assembly. Right. So how do you see it? Like, should we say it's a luxury, a privilege that you are going after? Power, like why you want to be powerful? Can one be powerful and contented?
Sometimes people say, be happy with what is there on your plate. Don't try to have higher ambitions as such.
Exactly. So now the critical element here, that is what, right? Critical thinking. No, shouldn't there be any ambition? Shouldn't there be any higher purpose? Is being contented the higher purpose? Then how are you going to create something in the world? Right. If let us say if an artist is not ambitious, right? Let us say if he's a sculptor. So if you want to sculpt something, right? If some architect, if you want to create another, eighth wonder of the world or something like that. So there again, the contentment comes into the picture. I think from the perspective of when you want to create something, it is not making others poor, maybe. Right, making you also poor, right? It is not coming at the cost of economy or the society, not exploiting resources. So I think from that perspective, we can say it is not bad to accumulate wealth, right? But the path should be honest. There should be integrity
as much as possible.
Yes, philanthropy, altruism, helping others. So if that is also there, I think maybe you find contentment in that, right? So compassionate capitalism and other stuff. But I don't agree with that. So here, the thing I heard somewhere in a speech. So there is nothing wrong in accumulating wealth. So if you want filthily rich, be filthily rich. But anything you are accumulating should not be born out of corruption. Any ulterior, any shortcut, and not at the cost of anyone else. So if it is purely through honest means, so then that is still contentment.
So I think we can also bring comparisons of people, right? Having wealth is not a problem. How you achieve it, that is where the focus must be. We have had individuals like Warren and Harshad Mehta at one point in time. How Warren accumulated wealth in his life and how Harshad Mehta did it. They're two entirely different. Correct. So the path here, I think we can bring a difference in approaches as well.
Again, how do you achieve contentment? That is also through meditation, through renunciation, right? Through social service, right? And how do you make people contented? When then introduce the concept of competition here, right? So when the world is competitive, hyper competitive, again when the resources are limited, when you have FOMO also, fear of missing out, right? So I think there is an opportunity to introduce so many concepts and enrich your essay.
It's an interesting one, sir.
So good. So overall, I think we have discussed all 8 topics. Now, in the introduction, you said you actually cautioned people who have written essay paper today, those who have written mains, not to look at this discussion. I would also recommend the same. But if at all you want to watch, you have to be stoic. You should have achieved equanimity in your life. If you have done something written in the essay, know that what we have discussed is not the ultimate truth, right? Ultimate, arguments. So it is also subjective. When we go back from this podcast and think, then for us also it will occur that, oh, we should have discussed many more ideas. The essay paper got over half an hour, 1 hour ago. We just came and discussing this topic. So for us also it will feel like we could have had more dimensions. So to the best of our ability, we have discussed as much as possible. Similarly, to the best of your ability, you would have written the best essay there. So wish you all the best. And for those who are watching this video, keeping next year examination in mind, so maybe you can include the perspectives and improvise the perspective we discussed. And you should attempt these essays and come for evaluation. I'll be there, Umesh Sir will be there at InsightsIAS.
Right, sir. Whomsoever is watching, if you're writing means, again, as Sir said, all the very best. Just go, rock it, don't be worried, be stoic. And whomsoever will be writing means, next time around, practice. And essay at the end of the day is an art as well as a science. The more you practice, the better you will get.
It is the most ignored paper in the UPSC, though it is for 250 marks, as good as GS, any GS paper, GS 1, 2, 3. So GS 1 entire year they spend, GS 2 entire year they spend learning geography, economy, polity, everything, world history, art and culture. But essay, no. So read little bit of philosophy, psychology, sociological concepts, and you will definitely excel in the essay paper. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you.